Hello everyone. So, okay, yeah, give me 5 minutes. I'll set up my machine and we will continue. We can continue.
Hello.
Yeah, okay. So we can start. So, Kartikey Agarwal.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, hi. Yeah.
Yeah, sir. Actually, I have doubt in week 10.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Can you please explain private procedure and public procedure in detail?
Yeah, okay. So I will share my screen.
Wow.
Wait, I will share my screen and explain. Okay.
Okay, sir. Let me share the screen.
Yeah. Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what is the question?
I want to know about public and private procedure, how they can call each other in details. That's
Okay, so let us write some simple class. Okay. Uh, so object type name is, let's say, complex. This is what we have seen in previous example. Okay.
okay,
And
sir.
so we have a private field, so that is real and imaginary part.
Okay.
Okay. And we have public procedure. The public procedure, the first procedure is let's say init, that loads the value for real and image. Okay, r comma I. So this will set real equal to r and image equal to I. End procedure. Okay, and we have another public procedure which is add. Add takes a parameter of another complex variable, let's say C2. Okay, and the operation is the new updated real value is actually real value plus C2 of real value, and image value is equal to self image value plus the image value of C2 and end procedure. Okay. So now, do you think is there any error in this class definition? I mean the object type definition.
Yes, sir.
What is the error?
Sir, according to me, it should be real and image in line 5, 6, 6 and 7 because it is private procedure. So how can they call it?
Okay, let me name the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So now tell me in which line we have error.
Sir, 5, 6.
Okay.
Yes, sir, and 9 and 10.
Okay, so what is the error you want to claim?
Sir, according to me, real and image are private procedures. So how someone can call them?
Okay, private variables cannot be updated. Is that your claim?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now the whole definition is inside the complex, right?
Okay.
So so answer to your question is this is legal. This is not a error. Okay. So
Okay.
this line do not have any error. Second line and similarly 5, 6 do not have any error because inside a definition of an object type,
Okay.
you can access any variable whether it is a public or private.
Okay.
Okay, only outside when I go, suppose if I have a pseudocode somewhere here,
Okay.
then I cannot access this private field. It is hidden for the outside people.
Okay.
Okay, so then I can access. So okay, so now maybe I will complete the pseudocode so that you will get an idea. Okay, so now I create two variable c1 c2. Both are complex type object. Okay, and
Okay, sir.
c1 dot init 4 comma 5 and comma c2 is also init. Assume that this is your next line. Okay, so init 3 comma minus 1. Okay, so now we have created two objects c1 and c2, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now assume that you have two objects. Let's say I have c1 and c2. What are the private fields of c1?
4 and 5.
Okay, so private field are, let me write a private field in blue. Okay, so real equal to 4 and the image equal to 5.
Okay.
Okay, so the private field of c2,
3 and minus 1.
real equal to 3 and image equal to 1 minus 1.
1. Yes,
Sir,
sir.
sorry to interrupt. Just one small question.
Yeah.
While we have read this concept of object, can you just help us give one visual representation of what is the need of creating objects? Why we cannot do everything with just C1? And what is this concept of object?
Okay, yeah, after this maybe I will explain.
Sure, sir. Sure.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so
And Vijay, just one question more. On line 8, no, you have directly introduced the object C2. So that's okay. There's no need to define the object elsewhere.
no, you no need to, because it is a parameter. So far we are not introduced the parameter type anywhere. It is a variable. That's it.
So C2 is just a variable.
Yeah, C2 is a variable and depends on what you pass. Suppose if I have my code something like C1 dot add of C2 here, then from in this point we will get what is the scope of C2. What is the type of C2.
Okay, and what you did is in the next line number 9, you used it as it's only after looking at line number 9 that I realized that C2 is an object and you
yes,
are
based on usage we have to decide what is the C2. Yeah, that is correct.
Okay. So there's no need to introduce it and
No,
define
no,
it.
no, actually, so when you go to the proper programming language, you should, I mean, in some language, you have to specify what is the type of this variable.
Huh.
But in this pseudo, I mean, this pseudocode format, we didn't specify that.
We didn't specify. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I
Thank
just continue from. Okay. Okay, Prabhu. Thanks. Yeah. So okay, we will continue this thing. So these two are the private field, and apart from this private field, complex has two public procedures. So let me write those public procedures. Okay, so the one is init, another one is add, and similarly C2 will also have two public procedure. One is init, another one is add. You can see that however we define it's a single object type. Whenever you create an instance that is object for the object type, everything is completely allocated to one object, like even private field, public field, private variable, and public private procedure, public procedure, everything is given to. Okay, so I'm sorry, I'm not following syntax properly, because it should be specified like private fields and public fields. Okay, so assume we have field over here and procedures.
Sir, actually, I'm not getting anything.
No, what is C1? Don't unmute, and you can stay online. Okay, so what is C1?
C1 is field, sir.
No. So look at the code and tell me what is C1.
Parameter, sir.
So
Complex objects. Okay, complex object.
what is the complex first?
Sir, in which, how can I explain? In which two or more objects combine, you can say.
No, that is a word for that. So if you watch week 10 video, you can say what is the complex. I mean, this whole thing is called using one keyword. What is that?
Data type,
What data type? That is, yeah, data type is
object
correct,
data
but
type.
yes,
यार
object.
बात कर रहा हूँ.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so this is the whole thing is called object type.
Okay.
Okay, so before that we will take one short example. So int x, what does this mean? Suppose if you know C language or some basic fundamental language programming, then what is the meaning of int x?
So we are describing a variable x with data
Yeah.
type integer.
Yeah, so variable x with data type integer, right?
Yes, sir.
So x equal to 10, is it correct?
Yes, sir.
No, it's not correct, because we are assigning string value.
Okay. I'm thinking like you are mentioning. Okay, I got it.
Okay,
Yeah, it is
so
correct.
this is correct, right?
Yes, sir.
So similarly, assume that your object type is the one data type similar to int, string, boolean, these kind of data types. Object type is also one data type.
Okay.
Okay, and so the instances of the data type are something like variable. These are the objects.
Okay.
Okay, so now C1 is one object, right?
Okay.
So integer can store int value.
Okay, sir.
Suppose if I have another string variable, let's say string s is equal to a, then string can store all the string value, the multiple characters, right? So then what this C1 can store?
Sir, what, sir?
So every variable is storing some value, right?
Okay.
So then this C1 is also one variable of type complex.
Complex. Yes, sir.
Okay, so then what it will store?
So the value will pass in int or.
No, for that you have to look at this definition of object complex. Okay, are you getting it or not?
No, sir.
Okay, so what is this? Okay, anyway, I have to start from scratch again. What is complex?
So complex is object type, data
Object
type.
type. What are the contents of complex?
Sir, real image you can see. init procedure private field.
Is all comes under the same label or different labels?
So different labels.
What are the labels? And then you have to specify everything, man. So what are the private field? What are the private procedure? What are the public field? And what are the public procedures?
Okay, private fields are real and numerous. Public fields are init and add.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we have two private fields
Okay.
and two public procedures.
Okay.
Okay. So now when you create a variable, let's say x equal to 10 or s is equal to a. Okay. These are one example of initialization of variables, right?
Okay,
So
sir.
when I say x equal to 10, I can say that x is an integer type that stores the content of 10,
Okay.
and s is the string type that stores the content of a.
Okay, sir.
Okay, and similarly, if I want to create a variable for this complex,
Okay.
then the variable of complex will have value for all of this,
Okay.
because these are the content of the complex.
Okay.
Okay, suppose if I create a variable, another variable c3.
Okay.
Okay, with the following value, real value. Okay, sorry, real equal to 3, image become -2, and I have additionally two fields init and add. Okay, how can I create?
So you just have to
First I have to say c3 is the complex
complex
object.
object. Yes, sir.
Okay, then what is the next step?
Sir, you should even define C3 same like C1, C2
Yeah, I
inside.
have to init it, right?
Yes, sir.
So what is the parameter I have to pass? Since
3
these
and
are 3 and -2, I have to call init of 3 comma -2.
yes, sir.
Okay, so then when I say that c3 is an complex object, it will simply create this setup. Say it will not assign any value to the fields. Okay, and it
Okay.
will create only this whole, this memory is allocated like c3 is one object and these are the values. Initially values are nothing, so that it will store with some default value or empty, nothing. Okay,
Okay, sir.
when I call the moment c3.init means this function will call this init. Okay, and
Okay.
this init assume that this whole definition is placed here.
Okay.
Then it will execute with 3 comma -2. So instead of r I will pass 3, instead of I will pass -2.
Okay, sir.
Now it will execute, right? Then what it will do, it will set real equal to r, that is the real value is now going to set. So when you execute init, it will set real equal to 3 and image equal to -2,
Okay.
right? Then it will come back to the execution, normal execution.
Okay.
Okay, so now these are done. Now I have c1 dot add of c2.
Okay.
Okay, so are you getting these boxes, what they
Ye-
represent?
yes, sir. They are objects.
Yeah, they are objects, and whatever complex field they have, they will have all those fields,
Okay.
including private. Okay,
Yes, sir.
okay. So now I have c1 dot add. Then where it will go? This will call which procedure?
Sir, can you repeat?
I want to execute this line.
Okay.
So then which procedure I have to call?
Sir, line number 8.
No, it's not line number 8. Look carefully and say c3 dot init, where I called only the init of c3.
Yes, sir.
Then c1 dot add, then which one I have to call?
Sir, you have to call procedure add.
Add of c1, this only I have to call, not this whole thing.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now when I call this, actually calls this add. When I call this add, what will do, this whole code is assume that it will be placed over here.
Okay.
Okay, and what is the parameter? C2 is the parameter.
Okay.
This is my C2.
Okay.
And this whole object is passed as a parameter inside here.
Okay.
And you have to assume that somehow this whole 4 lines are placed over this add something blah blah here.
Okay.
When you execute, you have c2 passed. Now do the operation. Real is equal to real plus c2 dot real. What is the value of real now?
So exiting it, it is 44.
Yes, because you are inside this c1.
Yes, sir.
So now real equal to 4. I just write this value. So real is equal to 4 plus what is the c2 dot real?
C2 dot real is 3.
3 and image
Sir, 5 plus 5 minus 1.
5 plus minus 1, right?
Yes,
Then
sir.
what is the update? Real equal to 7, image equal to 4.
Okay.
So is this correct or is there any bug? That is so far you are getting the point, right? How to execute.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now question is it has any bug or it is correct in
Sir,
your
it is.
execution?
Sir, it is correct.
It is correct. Okay, now I will tell you the problem. These are private fields, right?
Yes, sir.
Can I access from C3 what is C1 of real?
Sir, 7 and 4.
No, can I do or not? That is the question. I mean, the value is fine.
Yes, sir, you can do it as you have access C2
Okay, so
also.
suppose you have one object and another object. Okay,
Okay.
and I'm just recreating one more. Let's say C4, C5. Okay, and I have again one real image. This is real image, and we have two more init and add. Init and okay. So now the question is, can I use this real somewhere here?
Yes, sir.
How? Because these two are the private fields of C4.
Okay.
Okay, now I will come to what is the concept of private. If something is written blue, that is private over here, means you can use these two only inside the scope of this box.
Okay.
Okay, and these blue lines you can use only the scope of this box. You can
Okay.
assume that they cannot go outside this box.
Okay.
Okay, but these two lines, this sky blue color, they can go anywhere. Their limit is I mean there is no limitation for them.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so now add can be called from outside because this is a valid call, because c1 dot add, then it will call this add. But if I say I try to print c1 dot real, then what happen? I try to access the private field outside c1,
Yes, sir.
then this is actually invalid.
Okay.
Similarly, I'm executing a code inside C1, but I try to access C2's real. Is it a valid one?
No, sir.
Okay, so then line 9 and line 10 has error.
Okay.
Okay, so this is okay. This will answer your query. So even though you are using public procedure,
Yes, sir.
you can access only the private field of one object, not some other object.
Sir, can you repeat?
Even though you are using public procedures,
Yes, sir.
the private fields of the own object can be accessed, not some other object.
Okay, you mean to say that we can access real equals to C dot real?
No, that is also incorrect. So I mean, because C2 is the parameter passed, right?
Yes, sir.
Then you should have one more private field. So I will write the alternative for this. Okay, this is incorrect.
Okay.
So instead of that, what will I say? I will say C1 dot get real. This is another method. Okay,
Okay.
and
Okay.
I write get image. Okay, and I will rub some portion and so that I can write something else. Okay, assume that you are defining two more procedures which are public. Okay, procedure get image and procedure get real. Simply you are returning the real value. Here image value and here return real.
Real value.
Okay, and end the procedure. Now C2 dot get real will call. So okay, once these are done, this will create two more public procedures, right? C2 is also created with get image and get real.
Yes, sir.
Okay, suppose if I call C2 dot get real, it is a public one, right? So at this point I will call C2 dot get real.
Okay.
Then it is a valid access because this is public.
Okay.
Then it will go inside it. What will it return?
It
It will
will return.
return C2's real value. It's our image value, right?
Okay, sir.
Okay, so then I will get values of this -3 and -1, and 7 and 4 will be updated. Can you see the
Okay.
difference?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so when you directly access the private field, you will end up with an error because you try to access private fields of some other object.
Okay, sir. But in starting, you have said if we write in another object,
Uh,
then we cannot access. But right now we are writing in the same objects.
yeah, but you can see that here. So assume that this ad is actually C1's ad, right?
Okay.
Right now in execution,
Okay.
and C2 is the some other object.
Okay.
So what is this procedure called? C2 dot get real. Is it a public procedure or private procedure?
Private, sir.
No. See, these two are defined under public procedure.
Okay.
Okay, so then you are trying to access. See, even you can see these different colors means these are public procedures.
Okay.
Okay, so when you try to access C2 dot get real, it is a public procedure of C2, right?
Yes, sir.
So what I say, so the public procedure can go anywhere from its scope to any, I mean, inside the scope.
Okay.
Okay, so then this get image of C2 is the valid call.
Okay.
Okay, so initially we have error because we try to access C2 dot real, which is a private field.
Yes, sir.
That is incorrect. So we replaced it with by accessing a public field. Sorry, public
Okay.
procedure.
Okay.
Okay,
Got
so
it, sir.
okay, so your doubt is okay now?
Yes. Yes, sir.
It
Yes,
is
sir.
clarified? Okay.
Sir, can I share my screen?
Yeah, you can share. I will stop sharing and you can share.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, it is a practice assignment of week 10.
Okay.
Sir, in this pseudocode.
It is loading 1 minute. Yeah.
Yeah, sir. You can see it.
Yeah, okay. Loaded.
Okay. Sir, why sir, in C option, sir, ct.t value and ct.mark list can be updated directly. So according it's a private procedure, so it cannot be called. So how we have to write it to call it?
T value and mark list, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So can you go top? Go to the top. Yeah. Okay. So the T value and mark list are defined as a private field, right? So
Yes, sir.
now the question is why it is marked as a private field? Because
Yes,
this
sir.
is to find the class topper, right?
Yes, sir.
So to find class topper, someone can access the student's mark?
Student mark. Yes, sir.
No, assume. So I mean, this needs some abstraction level. So just think like that. So you have some data with you.
Okay.
Okay, and assume whenever your customer come to you, you will
Okay.
say one answer to them. You will not give your data. Otherwise, your
Okay.
data will. Okay. So
Okay.
what data you are maintaining? You are maintaining some student information of a college.
Okay,
Okay.
sir.
Some customer asking you who is the topper of some class.
Okay.
Then what you will say? You will say this guy is topper. You will not say that the entire mark list of the class. Okay. Then you are
Okay.
leaking information.
Okay.
So
So,
okay.
sir, how can we call that ct.t value?
No, we should not call. That is why we restrict it. That is why we
Okay.
put it in the private field. Suppose if you want to access, then you can make it as a public field.
Okay. Okay, sir. Got it, sir.
Okay. So you want to hide some information. Whenever required, you will display it, but you don't want to show to everyone.
Okay.
That is the reason we are putting it in the private field.
Okay, sir. In this, you can see procedure add mark.
Mm.
Mark in mark list equals to mark list plus. So how can we call it then? Sir, why we are calling it? Because it is a private procedure.
Yeah, but add mark is a public procedure, right?
Okay.
But once again it is same. So can you scroll down? Okay, so read the first line. CT is an object of class topper.
Okay.
Okay, so CT is one object, right?
Okay.
So then when you call CT dot add mark,
Okay.
okay, now go to the procedure. Okay, so assume this whole thing is for CT, this class topper definition.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so CT dot add mark means you will call this procedure add mark of mark.
Add mark of mark. Okay, sir.
Okay, so now this CT will have a two private variables, right? This T value on mark list.
Okay, sir.
Once again, as per our scope, the object can access its own private fields.
Okay.
Only outside objects cannot access.
Okay, sir. Got it, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thanks. Okay. So, yeah, we can go to the other question. CAB or Deepak, Prabhu. Yeah, whoever.
Hello.
Yeah.
So can you hear me?
Yeah, Deepak.
Yeah. So my question is from like a week 11, a resource and process.
Hey, 1 minute. Yeah, please hold on. So 2 minutes. I will just answer to this and come back.
So
Yes, Deepak.
hello. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So my question is like to form. I mean, to have a deadlock, there should be a. I mean, it should be a non-acyclic, right?
yes.
Okay. So my question is like, what if, for example, there are two processes, P1 and P2,
Okay.
and P1 has requested for a source which currently is utilized by process P2. Okay, and P2 haven't request for any other source,
Okay.
but it is not forming any cycle.
Okay.
Will still it be a deadlock, or because it is not going to move anywhere, but is it still going to be a deadlock?
No, 1 minute. Let me share screen and try to draw what you are explaining. Okay.
Sure, sir.
Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So now you tell me what are the processes?
So there are two processes, P1 and P2.
Okay. So P1, P2. Okay.
Okay. So like P2 have requested for a resource which P2 is currently utilizing.
P1 is requested for a resource.
Yeah.
Okay. P1 request for a resource R1,
Yeah.
which is currently utilized by R P2.
P2.
Yeah. Okay.
and P1 is definitely running on some resource R2 per se. Okay.
So
So
P1 is
like my
also using some resource R2.
yeah
P1 is using some resource R2. Okay.
R2. Okay, so that's it. So then my question is, it is not forming any cycle.
Yes.
Okay, but R2 haven't requested for any other resource.
Okay.
So like, what will be the end of this? I mean, it is
Yeah, this
definitely
is
not
not a
forming
deadlock.
deadlock, right?
This is not a deadlock, I will tell you.
Yeah.
Okay. So P1 is sorry, P2 is using R1, right?
Yes,
Right
sir.
now. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So assume that after some time step, like some after some t time,
Mm-hmm.
R1 will be released by P2. So
Okay.
assume that this is a resource, right? Then some process after time t time step, it will release the resource.
Hmm. Okay.
Okay, and similarly, let's say this takes t1 times. Then after some t2 times, p1 is also will release r2 because it's time. I mean, once the usage is done, it will release the resources.
Okay.
Okay, so right now, what is the status? R2 is free and R1
Mm-hmm.
is also free. Now still P1 requests R1 because it is not getting yet. Okay,
Yes, sir.
we
Mm-hmm.
can assign P1 to R1 after t step t times. That is when you can assign at T1 plus 1th time to R1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it is not a deadlock, but you can say that it can go for long time. I mean, the deadlock means infinite time is deadlock, but long time is not a deadlock.
Okay, so like there will be time when both the processor will be
Yes.
free and
Yeah, anyway,
okay
after certain time, it will release
at
the resource.
certain time. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. And so like one more condition. So like what if like here only the P1 and P2 process, like there is another resource for
Hmm.
say R3 which is free, and P3 is requested for that resource,
Okay.
and as well as P2 has requested for R2 as well.
Oh, wonderful. So, what is apart from this setup? What is the additional thing?
So additional thing is from P2, P2 is requested resource R3
Okay. P2
and
resources are three.
requested R3.
Okay, 1 minute.
Yeah,
Now, P2 requests R3.
R3
Okay.
and P2 requested R2 as well.
P2 requested R2. Okay. Okay.
So is this forming a deadlock?
Yes, this is deadlock.
So like if R3, I mean resource R3 is not utilized by any other process, like
Correct. But the problem, okay,
mhm,
so I will tell you one notion. Maybe I forget to tell you.
okay.
When P1 will release R1, that is the question we have to ask.
Hmm.
Okay, so okay, so what is the possible sequence? So suppose I will write one thing. So P2 releases R1, P1 releases R2,
Hmm.
P1 access or I mean whatever the notation you have used, R1,
One.
P2 access R2. Okay, so these are the four things we want to be done, right? Which one you want to do first?
So like, but my question is like, I mean the P2 have requested for two resources, R2 and
Correct.
R3.
Correct.
So um, are we undertaking the condition that it required two resources at the same time?
Yes, that is what I want to trying to tell you. So
Okay.
R1, R2, R3, there are three resources,
Mm-hmm.
and P1 right now allocated to R1 and trying to access R2 and R3. Okay, so the question is when it will release. Okay,
Hmm.
so
Mhm.
P1 release R1 when it acts. I mean, when it gets both R2 and R3.
Okay. 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 Okay.
Okay, suppose we can say that, okay, this is one generalization. I mean, if I get at least one requested
Hmm.
resources, then when the moment I get R3, then I will release R1, right?
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
then there is no deadlock, because
Exactly.
then immediately once I released it, then P1 will take R1,
Hmm.
and R2 will be released. Then after some time, P2 will take R2 after releasing
Hmm.
R2. Okay, so but
Hmm.
that is incorrect. So I mean, R1 will be released when it get both R2 and R3.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, in
Okay.
that case,
Yeah.
it is still a deadlock.
Okay. Okay. Okay, sir. So, and some one more question. So, from the producer consumer problem. So,
Okay.
like, I want to know about like buffer. So, there is a question activity. So like, the buffer have capacity of 5 elements, and there are 3 elements there. And like, what are the, I mean, conditions where the consumer can access the buffer and producer can access the buffer? So, can you explain that?
Okay, so what is the activity question number?
Oh, so I guess activity 11. Let me open it.
Yeah.
Is from activity 11 point,
It
I
is
guess, 3.
11.3.
11 point.
3. Yeah, 11.3. Question number 7.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I will stop my sharing. So can you share the screen of that question?
So actually, I am accessing the Zoom call on my phone, and
Okay, Prabhu, can
yeah, so
you do?
I won't be able to.
Sir, I remember the question actually. It said that in how many possible ways can the the consumer access the buffer? And the next
So,
question was in how many possible ways the producer can
One
access
thing,
the
I
buffer.
actually I'm unable to access the portal, so I cannot see the
okay,
question.
okay. So can I share my screen
Yeah,
and
yeah,
show you? I think
yeah.
it's
I will stop
11.3.
sharing, and you can share the screen.
I think it's 11.3. I'll try to share. One second.
Okay.
Yeah,
Actually,
11.3.
I had a similar question. I think this must have got addressed in the past, but I think we can revisit this.
Yes, yes.
11.3. Now, how do I share my screen? One second. Yeah, can you see the screen?
Yes, it is visible.
Yeah, yeah, visible.
Okay, now I think what was being asked was, I think this one, no?
Yeah, yeah. This one.
Okay. So yeah, I think I had a gap of one. So when I ticked two, I think answer was three, and I ticked three, answer was four for these two. You want to read the question?
Yeah, yeah. I want to read the question. So assume the buffer of a producer-consumer problem can obtain maximum five data elements. Currently, there are three data elements or buffer.
In the buffer.
Okay.
Answer the following questions. How many different situations are possible when only producer is allowed to access buffer? So producer can only write into the buffer, no?
Yeah, they can only write.
So and there are only two places to write. So is it that you are also including the possibility of not writing anything like?
Yeah, so I'm just thinking, is it I mean, the question is this much, or is there any other information given
No,
somewhere?
there's no other thing. Only just this is like producer consumer.
So there is a statement, and then there's two questions, 7 and 8.
Yeah. Interestingly, the answer for the next question also differs by one.
Sir, can I give a shot at trying to explain this?
Yeah. Good.
Yeah, Prithvi.
You can
Because
go.
I remember Omkar sir explaining this as well, and I believe I got it correct the first time. Here, the explanation, I think, since like there are there are three elements in the buffer.
Okay.
Um, Wait, is the answer correct answer three, or shouldn't it be four or something?
No, correct answer is three, Prithvi.
This is correct answer, right? I mean three.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait. Let me
Yeah,
refresh
check
this.
answer. There is option, right?
Let me refresh this.
I thought this was four. I'm sorry.
Yeah, here.
Yeah, answer is three.
Sir,
No, I
actually,
think the whole
this
is
Yeah,
right.
was
so
yesterday. Sir, this was yesterday explained by Omkar, Mr. Omkar.
Yeah, okay.
He explained that when there is three elements in the buffer, there are three possibilities because one, the producer can produce one, or else the producer can produce two, or the producer will do nothing. There are three possibilities.
Oh, will do nothing also is a possibility.
Yeah, there is a possibility.
Oh, then it explains, sir. Then it explains.
So,
Okay.
like, but producer allowed to access
For
the
consumer as
buffers. I didn't get it. I mean, how the possibility makes the difference.
Okay, so what is the next question? Question number 8.
Yeah, you can go to the next question. See number 8.
Here also, the consumer can consume one or two or three, or consumer will not
Nothing.
consume nothing.
Nothing.
So there are four possibilities.
Can you see?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay,
So
so
I'm just
so
thinking.
doing
So
nothing is also a possibility. That's what
that is fine,
amounts.
but one thing, I mean, this is something out of scope of this question, but generally we should know regarding this producer consumer.
Huh.
Okay, so so I feel that the question is little inadequate with data because just go to the top and they said yeah, I mean it is done part of my team, that's fine, but okay, so assume that the buffer of a producer consumer problem can contain maximum 5 data elements. Okay, so the limit is 5. Currently there are only 3 data elements in the buffer. 3 data elements in the buffer.
Means the 3 data elements are full.
Okay, why it need to be filled?
He says that there are 3 data elements in the buffer. I mean, that means the remaining 2 are empty.
Okay, so the 2 only can be filled. That is the logic, right?
Yeah. The only interesting thing is not doing anything is also a possibility. That's what the answers insist on.
When only producer is allowed access the
So, but
buffer.
sir,
the
if I
consumer has
may,
requested for doing anything, then
No, I
the
think
producer have
so.
to.
For this option, you can consider, but in generally, when it's okay, this is something out of the scope. So, when in generally this passiveness of producer, that is not an activity. So,
Hmm.
so please,
sir,
Yeah.
if I may,
Yeah.
yeah,
True.
okay.
Exactly.
Maybe I
Actually,
mean, the
we think
question
of in
creator.
think
Okay.
of in a way like NC0 is 1. Okay, so like selecting 0 things or choosing a nothing is also a possibility, which
Yeah,
we
that is
said.
fine. But when you go to this, I mean, I'm not sure whether you know this background of OS designs. Okay, and being passive or inactive is not a state at all.
Yeah, I know.
sir,
Philosophy.
sir, I think earlier it was explained that it was argued that
Yeah, no,
producer just fills in one of the slots, so that is one possibility, and it fills another slot. That's the second possibility, and the third was that when it tries to fill, it sees that the buffer is full and probably is testing for.
That's absolutely fine. I'm not against the answer of this question. I'm just telling one general thing. I mean, for this course, this
Sir,
is
I
most.
agree with you.
Yeah. I mean, for this course, I agree that all this activity question based on the lecture, and yeah, I honestly say that somewhere it will be mentioned. That is fine. But I'm telling my general opinion apart from this producer. I mean, based on this producer consumer problem, when you go to the real life scenario, and looking at where, I mean, all these things are mainly teaching because to give a notion of how operating system works, right?
Correct.
So this when you consider this operating system, there will be many states associated for each process, and they will move from one state to another state during the execution. Okay, so there is always something called wait state. There is nothing called inactive state or something. The sleep state is different from the inactive state. Yeah, there can be one state we can say sleep, but we cannot say doing nothing is one state. So I mean, for this course, suppose this is not specific to any particular subject. So here we can say it is our assumption, and we frame question by concerning some parameter or something which is to our interest.
Yeah.
So should we consider doing nothing? Doing nothing is.
Okay, here you can assume.
No, sir. Not here. As general, for example, if we get something
framework, doing nothing is not at all a state, and you cannot have such a state while you design some data flow or any object flow.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean that is not recommended while suppose if you are designing a framework.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so but for this course, assume, I mean, the whatever explanation given by Omkar or Danya is suitable for this course.
Exactly.
So
like,
I don't want to give you a flavor
if we consider doing
when,
nothing as a
when you use
process,
it somewhere else, you have to go with the same assumption.
Yeah. Okay. So can we go to the next question? I think this is clear because I think it's an optional. I mean, it looks very arbitrary that doing nothing is.
So, but my question remains the same. Like what there are two.
So we are a little deviated.
Yeah.
So I want to just go to the next question and see. You know, I have a similar problem here. You have this code, pseudocode here. I just wanted to read the pseudocode and then.
So like, can I complete my question? Then like you can go.
Okay. I'll wait.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So like my question is like even if we consider two extreme cases where the buffer is completely empty and buffer is completely full. Okay. So and the Omkar sir has said that okay, if the producer will access the buffer when it is completely full, and it will get to know okay the buffer is full and I'm not going to put anything in the buffer. Okay. So my question is, like, if the buffer is full, it is not going to access the buffer because it is going to, I mean, get the indication even before that, okay, the buffer is full. So like how we are considering the
I mean, it's all state. About how we design the buffer. Okay, suppose assuming that there is one meta table or something that will tell you how many are free and how many are full, all this information. Or else you will go to the places where it is stored and see, okay, the first is full or second is full or third is full. It depends on the design. So right now we are not concerning that design part. Okay, but when you implement something, you can take care that okay, there will be some master or meta that give you all this. I mean, this preliminary informations. Okay, so and which one is full and which one are free, all this information it will give. Assume that. So such that only you have to design when you go for this frame of designing.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I hope I addressed the comment, and is that fine?
Okay, sir. Like,
okay.
I'm not completely satisfied. Okay, but still okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Prabhu, we can go to.
Yeah, I just have this one question that is there on the screen. If you can see.
Okay.
Just this one also, I found that the options were not so immediately apparent.
Okay.
So this is
let n be the maximum buffer size of food container in a street food shop. Okay. Shopkeeper fills the food container, whereas the customer takes out. Okay. Is there something else after that from?
No, nothing. I think it's okay.
Okay. So from the container, assuming customer and shopkeeper cannot access the container simultaneously. Okay. Consider
the given pseudocode.
Okay. So buffer size is set to 0.
Yeah, now this statement 1 has to be picked from the options, statement 1 and statement 2.
Okay.
Okay, now this option 9, question 9 is consider the above pseudocode is written for the customer to access the food container.
Okay.
And when the customer is accessing the food container, for the food, the food container, this is a correct option as shown, but how can this happen? The buffer size is greater than 0, comes here. Let me make this bigger. One second.
Okay, scroll down. And what is the second statement it say?
And the other one is
okay, buffer size is decreased by 1.
So when the customer accesses the container, he's picking up one thing, no? And so the buffer size will be reduced by 1.
Okay, so I will add. I will tell you. So go to the top. So the problem is actually buffer size equal to 0, and after there is no gap between these two, while and line 1, right? So you can assume this buffer size equal to 0 is the ultimate line that executes initially.
Okay.
Okay. So after that, this while and the consumer side while will run concurrently. I mean this visualization you have to make. Let's assume buffer size equal to 0 is the ultimate first line.
Okay.
Okay. And after that, you have two while loops. One is the customer side while loop. Another one is the consumer side while loop. Sorry, this producer side while loop.
Oh, so this code is actually supposed to be split into two, used by a customer and used by.
Yes. So I mean, again, in my opinion, we should not have this buffer size equal to 0 as the first line. It is the ultimate line for both of them.
Okay, see, my only thing was the logic here, because suppose you choose this option, this will never be executed. No, because buffer size greater than 0, if that is statement 1, and buffer size has already been initiated to 0.
Yes, Prabhu, that is what I am telling. Assuming that buffer size equal to 0 is the ultimate first line of your entire pseudocode. Okay. And after that, your pseudocode will have two procedures. One is the producer and another one is the consumer. Okay, and this producer and consumer will run concurrently. It's not a parallel, concurrent. I mean, there is a difference. Okay. Okay, it is concurrent. And whenever the producer is ready to fill some plate or some food, they will fill and create one buffer at the time.
Okay, so let me. But will this buffer size be automatically updated then for both of them?
Yeah. It will update it. 1 minute. I will share my screen and I will explain.
Please, then I'm going to stop sharing because I don't have any further questions.
Okay. Yeah, we can make some discussion over this and we can go to the next question later.
Okay, fine.
Okay, can you see the screen?
Yeah.
Okay. So I will write the code first. Okay, so I have buffer size is initially set to 0. Okay, and after that so we have consumer side and producer side. Okay, so what consumer will do? Consumer, while there is some this is what the statement 1. Okay, so let me write statement 1, and they will consume the data. So I mean, it will consume one thing. So this statement 2 should come here, and the while will end. Now the producer side, while statement 3, and it will execute statement 4 and end the while. Okay, so the execution is as follows. This is the ultimate first line, and there is no replacement for this. This will be the first line to be executed. After this, these two guys will execute concurrently, and let's say this one and this is the second concurrent. I mean, these two will execute concurrently. Means first it will check while this, and the next, okay, the at t0 this will be executed. Let's say in t1 we execute this. Okay, and this will be failed, assuming that this whole thing is run over another while loop, which is called while true. and again this whole thing is run over another while loop which is called while true. Okay, and you can see that these two cores will run infinitely and there is no termination for these two.
But even after that while loop, the statement one for the consumer will always, if it is related to the buffer size, it should always check that the buffer size
So
is.
what is the action to be done by the consumer? That is where we have to think. What the consumer will do?
Consumer wants to see if there is anything in the buffer and he wants to pick it up.
Okay, so then the condition should be buffer size.
Buffer size greater than or equal to 0, I think.
No, it should be greater than. If it equal to 0, then there is nothing. I cannot take anything.
Because see, now this is what is coming is my mental block, because when you already declared globally that buffer size is 0 and you are having a condition buffer size is greater than 0, and even though you have split it into consumer and producer, the two concurrent procedures, the buffer size being 0 to start with, the consumer will never enter this loop.
No, consumer will never enter, but assuming that this is executing concurrently, right?
Oh, okay. So you are saying let that be. I mean, it will not execute. It never executes. It doesn't matter.
No. Actually, this is the. I mean, I don't know whether it is not explained in the course or not. Whenever you have this consumer producer problem, both sides always execute concurrently.
No, that I got, sir. But the only thing is, okay, now I'm now thinking that even if the buffer size is equal to 0, it doesn't. I mean, when the buffer size is 0 anyway, consumer doesn't have any job. I mean, he doesn't really have to pick up anything.
Yes.
So I think the inner while loop, even if it is not executed, is fine.
Okay.
So I think that is what makes sense now, because earlier I thought, that in order to enter the loop.
Previously I encountered this problem that these information are not clearly given.
Okay.
Because whenever even so, I mean, without telling the background knowledge of the computer science, whenever I see buffer size equal to 0 and while of something buffer size greater than 0, then I will not enter into the while loop. That your intuition.
Hello. Yeah.
Okay, so your intuition is correct. There is nothing wrong. But the problem, but you have to assume that this thing will execute concurrently. So then there is a possibility that this guy will increment the buffer size.
Yeah, you're right now. See, now it makes sense to me. The moment you split it to consumer and producer, and the moment you added the word concurrency in my head, I think now it is clear that at some point of time, see, the producer will produce something, no? So producer will go.
Till that the customer will wait. I mean, he cannot pick anything.
Yeah, I got that now. Yeah,
it's a very common situation. Like if you go to the street food shop, when this person prepare dosa and keep on preparing dosa, and whenever he produce the first dosa, then only I can pick. I have to wait.
Yeah, correct. Now I understood. Now it makes sense. Actually, they should have given these two as the questions: consumer on one side and producer on one side, just like the way you wrote now.
Yeah.
It would have been easier.
Yeah, actually, so I mean, I feel that because this is something very dry concept, all this week 11, but this needs some additional data. So I mean,
see, thankfully they said that this will not be asked in the exam.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So anyhow, I think the idea of concurrency will take some time.
Is it announced in the forum? I mean, regarding.
Yesterday also, I think in Dhanya's this thing, solve with the instructor, she was saying those concepts also will not be asked.
Oh, okay.
This is mostly do with week 11.
Why?
No, not why. I think they have decided to restrict the syllabus for the exam, but they are covering the last 2 weeks, 11th and 12th, week 11, week 12, whatever has been covered. That is important. I mean, we will have to understand the concepts. But I don't think they will ask us that in the exam. I think yesterday, if you go through
these kind of information, these pieces of information are not coming. For example, I did not attend yesterday's session, and then we do not come to know these pieces of information.
One thing. So I'm not sure about this information, but one information is very clear to me because I think this is announced in the forum. I'm not sure, but we informed to the operation team for the announcement that from week 10 and week 11, you can expect a maximum of 5 to 10% question marks.
Uh,
Yeah.
I think then we need a very universal announcement again about.
I think it is done. I'm not sure. I have to check the operational team. I will inform them because
Yeah.
I mean the professor asked us to announce that the week 10 and 11 we will have 10% maximum of 10% mark, and
10%.
in other weeks we will concentrate 90%.
So I mean,
Sir, what about
okay,
then?
but sir, if we are considering questions, then we have to prepare. It's not that we just can skip it, right? Be 10% or 5%, then
Yeah,
it
you
can be
have to
anything.
prepare,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, suppose
So, for
if you are
example,
targeting
yesterday,
90%, then try to focus mainly on the other 9, and
yeah,
leave
yes,
less focus
yes,
to
yes,
10 and 11.
Sir,
sure,
is
sir.
it true
Sir,
only
is
for
it
the CT
officially?
course
No, it's only
or
restricted to CT course.
CT?
I mean,
Okay.
please don't confuse with other courses.
Yeah.
This is
No, I
only for
think
CT.
I think they'll eventually make an announcement about which weeks to cover. I think probably they will stop at week 9 and then give stress to only up to 9. 10 and 11, as you said, they might give only very less percentage.
Yeah, assume that it's a less
And
weight, not
Vicky sir,
zero weight.
maybe you might want to take a feedback. Last minute announcements and changes create lot of change in strategy at our end
No.
also.
Actually, so one thing that
So we understand that week 1 to 12 would be covered, and then that is how it is. We can focus on some things, we can focus on not things. 90% will come, 5% will not come, will become kind of difficult for us to grasp at the last moment.
that is fine. Suppose what happened if we not announced it? I mean, I just asking. So if he didn't announce anything, what he will do?
So we
Yes,
will
sir.
study
It's
thoroughly. We will study thoroughly everything, and that is how it
Everything,
should be.
right? We just announce
Exactly.
this to reduce the load. That's it. We are not
Yes.
okay.
yes,
So
sir. I
we
agree.
feel that 10 and 11 is little hard for you, so we don't want to stress you.
Sure,
That is
sir.
the reason. It's not
Sure,
meaning
sure.
that we are making some announcement to confuse you. Okay.
Sure, sir. Okay.
Yeah, so we feel that this is something, I mean, so from the student side we are getting feedback regarding week 10 and 11.
Absolutely. No,
So we
right, sir.
want,
This is absolutely right. Week 10 and 11 as compared with other weeks
okay, but
were
we
a bit
cannot
difficult.
exclude it completely, otherwise you, I mean,
Yes, yes, right.
so that we give less weightage. It is not meaning that we are excluding.
But sir, should
So
we
that's
wait for the announcement, or should we
I
consider this
hope it
as
is in the
final?
announcement. I'm not sure. I have not seen the portal. So if it is not there in the announcement, they will do the announcement properly.
Sir, as of now, no, it is not there.
Okay, maybe then I leaked in prior. Okay, so it will be announced later.
Yeah, it is not there as of now. Thank you.
Yeah.
So may I ask my question?
Yeah. Go.
Yeah.
But Mr. Apul, I'll ask you to go through the recording of yesterday's solve with the instructor.
Okay, fine.
That was very good session, and this was just mentioned in passing. You know, these processes, this request and what is this called? The deadlock, all these things. She clearly said it will not be asked in the exam. Okay.
Oh, I
So
see. Okay.
go through that.
Okay, fine. Thank you. We'll go through.
Yeah.
Sir, I have a doubt in question 11.2 activity question 11.2. Do you want me to share the screen, or would you like to
Please share the
access?
screen. I will share.
Okay, sir, I will.
Sir, am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible. Yes.
Sir, it is a conceptual question that I have, not related with a particular question. This says there is no interference between two procedures in executing in concurrent manner. I had chosen false, but the correct answer apparently is true. My doubt is, if there is no interference, then how this is happening? This is a concurrent thing and this is a parallel thing. Okay. Concurrency means there is some interference. That is how I interpret.
So what is the meaning of interference of data? That you have to clear.
Okay.
What is the interference of data?
Interference of data can be one of the situations of deadlock where one person is also trying to access and the other person is also trying to access.
Okay, so what is the difference between this? I mean, based on this flow control of parallel
Flow
and
of control.
concurrency,
Yes.
what is the difference between parallel and concurrency? What is? Can you say first what is concurrency?
Sir, actually, this was also a doubt. Now, concurrency, I would mean both the things are happening simultaneously.
No, it's nice. Then it is parallel.
Yes. So, what is the difference basically in parallel and concurrency then?
Yeah, I mean,
Concurrency,
this,
yeah.
I can see that this picture helps a lot because yeah, first time I have seen this. This red, assume all the red is one particular pseudocode or some
Yes.
procedure,
Right.
and blue is another procedure.
Yes.
Okay, so in concurrency, you will execute like this. So you will execute step one of procedure one,
Okay.
step two of procedure one. After step two of procedure one, I will go to step one of procedure two.
Okay.
Okay,
So,
something
sir, in
like
that case, interference to ho rahi hai na?
no, not possible, right? Because at each step you are executing exactly one line of the pseudocode, right?
Okay. I
You will
see.
not execute two lines of pseudocode at single time. You are executing only one line, but
Okay.
order is not maintained. I mean, you will sometime you will execute procedure one, and sometime you will execute procedure two.
Okay.
But if you consider one single time piece of time, for example, your third column is red, right? So during
Yes.
on the third time unit, I am executing only the y. I'm not
Only
executing.
the one. Okay. Fine.
Then I will read data or write data. I will not do simultaneously both.
So this kind of interleaving
Uh,
will be called concurrency.
yes, concurrency is something many procedure will execute, but at one time unit, only one step will be executed.
Sir, and this concurrent is different from concurrent or what? Concurrent and concurrent, are these two same things or different things?
Same over here.
Yeah, then it's an English question.
No, it will be same. No, Apple, I think it's the same thing.
Yeah,
Is
for
it okay?
I mean, for computer science, it is same. So
Okay.
yeah.
So we
I guess
pronounce that
parallel
as
will be the
concurrent.
different word.
Yeah.
Yeah, surely it is a different one.
Concurrent, ठीक है. So in a railway booking counter, when everyone is buying tickets and they are using the same software everywhere, so these are the transactions happening concurrently, no?
One very good example is railway. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, when I try to book a ticket, one particular PNR or some that number is allocated. Then if I got failed, then that particular number has revert back. Okay.
Yeah.
It might not meaning that the same PNR can be given to multiple person and one write will happen.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that is one example for the concurrency.
Okay.
Can
Okay,
we say
sir.
like that?
Clear. Thank you.
For having parallelism, hello.
Yeah. Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, for having parallelism, you need that much hardware to
Yeah, for
execute parallel.
parallelism, you need some advanced hardware. I mean, right now, whatever we are using this quad core, multi-core processors, all these are parallel units. The concurrent is something implemented around 2 decades back.
Only sequential and concurrent means what? In sequential, first process is completely finished,
Okay,
and then
so
second is
sequential
entered.
I mean, if you are looking at the screen, figure 1 is sequential.
Yes, correct. Figure 1 is sequential.
Figure 2 is concurrent.
So what you are doing is simply executing for a while, then suspending. Then taking second task, executing for a while,
So
suspending.
finish first task and wait all the remaining tasks. Then finish the second task.
No,
Sir,
not
but
finishing,
whatever
but we are not finishing, sir. We are suspending. We are not executing it completely.
Yes, I mean, depends on the activity. So, I mean, either you can say do X, then do Y. Okay, or otherwise do X and Y
What
alternatively.
to ask here is that the time for which I execute first process and then I go for the second process, are they necessarily be same, or we can have that varying one?
No, need not to be. It can be variable.
It can be variable. Okay.
Yes.
Sir, I have
So
one more
what we
doubt
have
regarding that private and public procedures.
Okay, so I explained it in the beginning of this session.
Yes, you explain it.
Yeah, can you
But
go
still
and look at the YouTube, because otherwise I have to start from the scratch. Otherwise I will do it in the end.
No, what I wanted to ask is that what are the private procedures you are defining or private fields you are declaring? Those are only accessible through the public procedures.
Yeah, they can be accessed only through the public procedures.
Means whatever the code, suppose I declare one object outside of the program, and that object is accessing public procedure, then that public procedure, is it not possible to access private
Yeah, it is possible,
field?
right? When you access the public procedure from
Uh,
outside object,
uh,
okay, so then you are executing the code which is inside the public procedure, which is written inside the class, that is object
then
type.
how we say that the private field is protected for the external object?
Yeah, I mean, whatever we explain is protected because you cannot access directly.
Object dot private.
Yeah,
Suppose I
that
have this.
access is restricted, right? Only
Only access is declared, but via this is possible. Via is always
no, this
possible.
is a small scale. Assume you have a very large scale example where, yeah. Once again, I want to go back to this student topper example. Okay, so you are maintaining some huge information like a student. So I mean, even for this online degree, we have maintaining all the information of students, phone number, address, all
Yes.
information, right?
Yeah.
Okay, if suppose some senate committee come and ask us, okay, who is the topper, then I can say that so, okay, so Ankit is the topper with 90 marks something. I will not say that Ankit from some place, his phone number is this and this is the topper. I will not say that information, right? So this is, I will keep all the information, but I will protect them. Whenever it is required, I will reveal it. It is not meaning that I never reveal. I will reveal only information. For example, my postal team asking, I want to send some letter to some person. Give me address. Then at that place, I have to give the address. I cannot say that this is private. I will not give. Okay.
But that
So
will always happen through public. Means it is possible.
yes,
In
and this
short, it is
information
possible.
convey will happen through public.
Mhm.
Okay, but I at necessary time I will give all this information, but not always.
Why I'm asking, because in one of the activity question, the matrix was declared as a private field, but the elements of matrix were accessed in the public field, and then it was asked that if we create one external object and we want to get initialize the matrix, and then that time it was showing the option that you cannot access the private field.
Yes,
That's why I'm
so
asking
I
you.
remember it is a graded one. Max
Yeah,
is
yeah,
allocated to some author who collaborated with most
yeah,
person. Yeah.
yes, sir.
So there the problem where you are accessing the matrix directly using the variable z, that is not
Yeah,
allowed because
externally
you should,
created object.
yeah, you
So
should
that object dot matrix is not possible, but via public I can definitely access it.
yeah, via public you
Okay.
can access it.
Yes, sir. Fine. Thank you, sir. Thank you so
Okay, sir.
much. Yeah, got it.
Thank you, sir.
Sir, I have one more question regarding this concurrent and parallel. Whatever we have learned, it appears to me that they are parallel. For example, we are calling a procedure. Okay,
Okay.
that procedure is doing something. X dot average and y dot average. So x dot average is doing something, y dot average is doing something. So they are parallel. It is not concurrent. Correct?
If it is parallel, then you should both at least one step of each should execute simultaneously.
If it is parallel.
Yeah, if it is parallel.
So, sir, can you give some example of through a pseudocode where we understand that this is a parallel functioning?
No, I mean the pseudocode will not give any difference. Only the execution will give you the difference. For example, if you look at the
You want me to stop sharing the screen?
no. I mean, I'm explaining based on the screen sharing.
Okay.
Okay. So if you look at the third figure, okay.
Third figure. Okay.
Okay. Draw any vertical line over this diagram.
Vertical line. Okay.
Okay. And assume that is the current time step for you.
Okay.
Okay. So at this time step, you are executing a blue or red.
Yes.
So you are executing both, right?
I see.
Okay. And in figure 2, if you draw any vertical line, it will hit exactly one color. Means it is concurrent or sequential execution. In concurrent or sequential execution, exactly one procedure, one statement of a procedure will execute.
Okay. And sir, in real is parallel possible then? How
Yeah, it is
can at
possible,
one
but
point of time two things can be executed?
okay, this is, I mean, for example, if you know GPU, graphical processor units.
No, I don't know.
Okay, so no problem. Suppose if you are using some advanced smart mobile, okay,
Okay,
so your
fine.
mobile will have 6 quad or 8 quad. I mean, this
Hmm.
multi-quad,
Hmm.
okay, processor, multi-quad processors, okay.
Hmm. Hmm.
So
Hmm.
means there will be 4 different processors, but each processor will execute one task. And if you look
Okay.
at one time unit, there are 4 processors, so 4 tasks executing simultaneously.
Okay. So through whatever we have covered till now,
Hmm.
can there be no demonstration of how to do things parallelly through a pseudocode? Is that not covered? Can be covered as of now?
Yeah, actually, we don't want to cover that because
Okay, fine.
suppose if you want to give the notion of parallel execution, then you
Mhm.
need program specific applications.
Fine, sir. Got it.
But in pseudocode, it is impossible.
It is impossible. Got it, sir. Clear. Makes it clear. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you very
yeah.
much.
Suppose if you want to get notion of it for a, I mean, it is a suggestion. Just surf over GPU programming, graphical processor unit.
Fine.
Then that will give you some notion. I mean, you no need to go through it completely, but if you read some Wikipedia page of that, then you will get some idea. Yeah.
Fine, sir.
Okay. Thank
So this was something conceptual that I was trying to understand, and this explanation helps.
you. Okay.
So
Yeah.
maybe parallelly, you can explain about the object also. I had put that earlier. Again, I am trying to put a picture of object. The explanation that you took for complex,
Hmm.
I would consider that as a procedure. But you said that that is a data type. And then we create objects, C1 object, C2 object, C3 object.
Hmm.
So if I have to visualize, how should I visualize these objects with the pseudocode is the last question that I want to ask.
Okay. Yeah. So.
I have stopped sharing the screen, sir.
Okay. No problem. Yeah. So I think for this object orientation, yeah. Okay. 1 minute, I will come back, and we will continue the session. Yeah. Okay. So I am back. So I will share my screen. So, okay, so instead of complex, so I have thought of something else. We will do that first. So maybe I will do a different object orient. I mean, we will do for a different object. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
okay, fine. Okay, so we will do something like line segment. Okay, so line is my object type. Okay, so this is something on a two-dimensional plane.
So what do you mean by object type?
Object type is something data type for the objects.
Data type for the objects.
Okay, so in this case, line is the data type. And suppose if I create, let's say L1 is the object of line. Okay, it means, for example, X is an object of integer. Then what is the value of X? X can be 1, 0,
Numbers, right?
numbers, right? So
Right.
similarly, if I say L1 is an object of line, that means the variable of the object type line. Okay, then L1 can have values for all its fields. Okay, so I will write the field, and yeah, I will
Fine,
explain.
fine, 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 sir. Okay.
Okay, so for line, okay, so this is a pictorial representation. Let's say this line. So what is the equation for a line to represent?
Y is equal to mx plus c.
Y equal to mx plus c. Here, what are the variables and what is the constant? How
X
many
is a
variables are
variable,
there? How many
C is a
constants?
constant.
What?
X is a variable and C is a constant.
Anything else?
M.
Yeah. Suppose if I give m comma c, it uniquely identify a lines, right?
Correct, sir.
So the slope and constant is important. Based on these two, I can identify uniquely what is the line, right?
Right.
So what kind of line that cannot be identified using these values? Suppose if I have a vertical line, for example, this line. What is the equation of this line?
Y equal to C.
Yeah, y is equal to c.
No, x equal to c.
X equals to c. Right.
Yes, sir. X equal to C.
X equal to c.
X equals
Okay.
to c.
So here I cannot define this line using m and c. Right? It is since it is parallel to y axis. Okay. So there are two types of line which are identified either using m and c or by using only c. Let's say this is type 1 and this is type 2. Okay, and we are defining this line only for the type 1. We are not considering the vertically parallel lines.
Okay.
Okay, so then what are the information I have to monitor?
M and C.
M and C. Okay, so now I want to make this as a private private field. Okay, so this is done. Okay, so what is the remaining part? Now I added a private field. Do we need any public field? Right now we are not decided anything. Okay, so and we know that the value for the private field can be given via public procedures. Okay, so there should be some public procedure that feed value to the private fields. Okay, so the first one is that common procedure init. Okay, so now how many parameters we have to pass?
Two.
What are those?
Slope and a constant.
Yeah, so I have to pass two parameters. Let me call it as a comma b, and I set value. Sorry, slope is equal to a and constant equal to b. End init. Okay. Okay. So now the question is, I will give you one more line and you have to decide whether it intersects or not. How will you analyze whether two lines are intersecting or not?
If M, if the slope is no.
So there are three lines I drawn. If one is parallel to another, then it will not intersect anywhere. I assuming that this is an infinite field. Okay. When here it is let's see, let me write L1, L2, L3. L1 and L2 are not intersecting since they are parallel. If they are parallel, then what is the common between them?
M would be same.
Their slope will be equal.
Slope will be equal, right? So then I have to, now I want to code this. So I will have one more procedure which is called procedure do intersects. So this is the interesting part. Let me write L2. Or it's okay. So just to avoid confusion, I just say it's argument, not any name. Okay. So this will decide if so. Now can you come? Someone tell me what is the code I want to fill?
So if slope is equal to argument dot slope.
Slope is equal to
Argument dot
argument
slope.
dot slope.
Return true.
Return
No,
false.
sir. Return false.
Okay. Return
False. Then it will intersect.
Return
True.
true. And end procedure. So ends does intersect. Okay. Okay. So is it done, or any changes we have to make?
So the procedure, the ARG dot slope, that you can't do because it's a private field. So probably you need to do ARG dot get slope.
Nice, Ankit. Okay, so this is actually errorless line. This line. Okay, the problem, this slope is the private field. Okay, so yeah, let me draw one picture to show this. Okay, so assume your line 1 is one object and line 2 is another object. And what are the data given to line 1 and line 2? For example, if you create a object for integer.
Sir, यहीं पर ही थोड़ी understanding चाहिए. When you say L1 is an object and L2 is an object, right? In reference to what you have written right now, can you give some understanding what L1 and L2?
Yeah, I will tell you. So let's say A is an integer. Okay, so the value stored will be 10. This is the this is the only information we record for an integer. Okay, but if you are executing this, let's say L1 is an object of line, then what are the information you will maintain for L1? Let's say L1 is actually representing the line y equal to 5x minus 4. Then what are the information you will record?
5 and 4. 5 and minus 4.
No, you should tell with this field belongs to something and that value is something. Like that you have to say. So I would like to say slope is a private field. Whatever I written in the dark blue is actually private field. Okay. Slope is equal to 5 and constant is equal to minus 4. This is for L1. And in addition to that, it has init and does intersect these functions. These are the public functions. sorry, procedures, init and does intersect. Suppose if there is a one more line which is actually y equal to 5x minus 7 plus 7, then what is the content of this L2?
Slope is 5 and constant is plus 7.
Constant equal to 7, and it will have the same
procedures.
This will be the same will appear here also. Okay, now okay, so I will write some piece of pseudocode over here so that we try to execute that. Okay, so first I will do L1 dot init of 5 comma minus 4. Then it will create these two will be executed, right? L2 dot init of 5 comma 7. This actually executes these two lines. Now L1 dot intersect L2. Now the question is how to execute this. Can someone explain what happened if I execute this?
So basically, does intersect is being called on the L1 object.
Yeah, so we have to execute this one, right?
Yes, sir.
By passing this whole L2 as a parameter.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it means now my arg2 is actually L2. I'm executing this whole from L1 perspective. So L1 is the main that executes this whole thing where the argument is L2. Okay. Yeah, continue.
Yes, sir. So see, the execution is in L1, you can say. So now when you say in if slope, that means you're trying to access the argument of slope, which is L1's slope. But if you do the same arg dot slope, now it means within the scope of L1, now within the does intersect procedure of L1, you're trying to access a private thing of L2. So
Correct.
which is
It's a
not in the scope. So this will throw an error.
Yes, it is a violation. Yeah, that your explanation is very apt explanation. And yeah, so you are trying to access L2's private variable. So assume that they cannot go beyond this limitation. I mean, it can be accessed only within the box. Okay. So, but you are trying to access L2's scope from L1's does intersect. That is the violation. We cannot do this. So instead, we can correct this code by removing this slope and add a function which is get slope, and assume that this implementation of the function will give you the slope value, and from that you can compare and find. Is that clear or
Excuse me, sir.
yes?
Sir, I had a few questions to ask. Can I ask them now? Are you done with this example?
Okay, I assume the silence is the meaning of satisfaction. Yeah, go ahead with your question.
Sir, I
Yeah.
didn't understand. I'm trying to understand. So get slope, you have explained it earlier. Slope will return. Slope will return but where would get slope be? I mean, it will be a part of the same data type, right?
Yeah, assuming that the get slope is the public procedure.
Yeah, but then how this procedure will again access
No,
slope of
no. Okay.
L2?
1 minute. This get slope is called to which procedure?
Does intersect?
No. Get slope is called for the argument procedure. Argument, right? Where argument is
Yes.
L2. Then I am calling the get scope of L2. Sorry, get slope somewhere. Get slope of L2.
But so where will the procedure be written? Get slope would be a part. Would it be a part of this particular procedure or a different procedure?
No, so here is the thing. So you are accessing the get slope of the own object or some other object.
Over here, we are getting the slope of a different object.
Different object, right?
Right.
So suppose if the get slope is declared as a public procedure, is it possible to execute or not?
It is possible.
Okay, so assuming that this get slope will return the slope value, is it this entire pseudocode is correct or not?
Correct. It is correct.
Correct, right? So only now the remaining task is implement this get slope. Somewhere
Correct.
you have to implement the procedure get slope or something, and simply this. So maybe it's very short. I will do that. So procedure get slope. It simply returns slope.
Okay.
Okay, but you can see the difference when you call L2.getSlope, then it will call this getSlope. Okay. Now I come inside the scope of L2.
Okay.
From here I can access the slope.
Okay.
Now I will return 5. Already I can access the slope because I am in L2. This is also will return 5. So 5 and 5 are same. So then I can return false that these two lines will not intersect. So previously I tried to access the slope directly, but that is something violation I cannot do. Now I access it via a public procedure.
Fine, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, Pritadeep.
Yeah, good morning, sir.
Yeah.
I had a few questions regarding this activity questions from week 11 content. Can I share my screen?
Yeah, please share. Wait, I will stop sharing and because. Yes.
Yeah, can you see my screen, sir?
It's loading. Yeah, I can see.
Okay, so in this particular, in this one, question number 2, can you clarify why this is false? The correct answer is given as false because in all the examples, that have been given in this particular activity set as well,
Yeah, we
the
actually
buffer size
discussed
was
this.
actually defined.
Okay.
Okay. This one, sir. I mean, even if we use the analogy of a tray, like the tray has to have some fixed size.
1 minute, I try to digest the code. Okay, so there is a fixed size buffer in the producer consumer problem. Okay, so do you think true answer is true?
Yes, sir.
Why?
Because like we need to have like depending on what the answer is, the buffer size has to be like similar to that or at least bigger than that. If like even if you consider the examples that have been given after this, for example, here it has given maximum 5 data elements, so the size of the buffer is fixed. When we
No,
go
1
down
minute, 1 minute.
here,
No, hold on. So the maximum data buffer size 5 means it is not meaning that the buffer size is 5. Buffer size can be 4, can be 3, can be 2, right?
okay, yeah, yeah, okay.
Then it is not fixed.
But like when we say maximum size is 5, we cannot exceed 5. So in that sense, isn't it fixed? Like
So if the buffer size isn't fixed, the producer can just go on producing, and
whenever
then
the produces more, then buffer size will increase, and but beyond 5 it will not go. That is what the limitation.
So that is fixed in some sense, isn't it?
Which see, the limit is fixed, the maximum limit is fixed, but the buffer size is not fixed.
Okay, you mean to say the value at particular point can be anything?
That maximum size is fixed. That I agree. But here we are not asking the maximum buffer size. We are asking what is the buffer size at a particular time step. That is not fixed.
Okay, if sir, whatever you just explained, if you want to convert this to a physical analogy, sir, it will be like the size of the tray is fixed, but the actual space occupied by the dosa, that isn't fixed.
Yeah, tray size is fixed, but the number of dosa can be vary, right? When people take some pieces, then the thing will vary. The numbers will vary.
But this particular question isn't referring to that maximum limit here.
Yes. No. This is not maximum limit. This is actually the current dosa size, the number of dosa is there.
Right. Okay. Okay, sir. And I had a few doubts in activity questions 11.4 as well. Here, if we are just reading, I mean, does it make a difference? Reading is not like modifying that data in any way. So can't these two read operations go on simultaneously? The correct answer to this is that the transactions will not execute.
Sir, I think this has to do with the multi-processing thing and the concurrency thing that you explained earlier.
Okay, so assume that the initial total amount
I can scroll up to
Yeah, fine, that's fine. So in the bank account, 1,000. Okay. Consider there are two ATM cards. Transaction of money 1, money 2. Okay, function reads the value of a variable from database. Okay, scroll down. Yeah. Okay, what will be the amount after the completion of transactions? Money to respectively. Okay. Yeah, what is your doubt?
Yeah, sir, my doubt was this. I checked this in the discussion forum as well. Somebody responded that since there are two read operations occurring at time t1, this whole thing the transactions will not execute. So my question was, reading is not modifying the data in any way. So can't read operations occur simultaneously?
Yeah, it can occur, but the
My
problem
my
is,
answer was 1300 and 1300, but apparently the correct answer is transactions will not execute.
yeah, I mean, apologies for this mistake. I think your answer is correct, but
Or is it like even for the same bank account, if there are several cards issued, one at a particular moment, only one card will gain the access to the ATM, and that is why if multiple people, I mean, from multiple family members try accessing the account at the
no,
same time, it will fail.
one thing, for one account we can have only one card. That is so sure. I mean, we
No,
cannot
it is
have
given
multiple cards.
in this that for the same account, two cards are issued.
Yeah, that is fine. But if you assume that then you can access the same card at simultaneously, right? I can at 11 o'clock I can go to some ATM with one card and another ATM with one card. It should give. I mean, this,
That is what our understanding is also like that.
yeah,
That
yeah.
even
So I
but
think
bank
all this,
account.
I mean, the problem related to week 11. So all this because of this abstraction level. So these are something assumed and not we are not coding it.
No, our
Yeah, but your answer is
our
correct.
only
I mean,
request is
I will not
our
say that.
only no. Even what our understanding is correct. If 1300 and 1300, even I got the same I mean understanding and clicked and it came out like transaction cannot happen. So whether the transaction cannot happen is actually correct, and if that is the thing, then what is the basis of that correct answer? Whoever has designed this question, because that understanding need to be clarified.
No, no. Why? That is what I am trying to explain. Listen this. So suppose assume there are two cases that in the first case, okay, 1 minute, yeah, in the first case, whether the person designs question in the based on the lecture explained, or the second case, the questions are phrased based on the current trend. These two things are should be matter. I'm assuming that this multiple read is not possible in the concurrency is very long back. Now it is possible. Okay, but if you look at the textbooks of operating system or some computer networks, this multiple read is still a blocked one. You cannot do. But when you go to the database systems, the multiple read is allowed. Only multiple write has some issue. Okay, so then
Correct.
you want to interrupt?
No, no, I said okay.
No,
I understood.
only thing is that in the lectures, I mean, this aspect was not covered, I think.
Yeah, actually,
At the same point of time, multiple reading can happen or not, this was not covered.
yes, but the whole lecture is based on the old OS concepts. That is what I try to mean you. Okay, so then this means the question, the proper person who prepare question assumes that okay, then I have to prepare question based on that concept, not based on the current trend. Okay, so maybe the latest modification comes in the database system allows multiple read, but this entire discussion on the week 11 is based on the multiple read is not allowed, then I mean I have to stick with
That I
that
understand.
notation.
That I understand, but the thing is, see, our course is designed. Uh, I mean, taking into fact that not all, I mean, different students come from different background, and I do not come from a computer science background.
Yeah, no
And
one way. I mean, nowhere we mentioned that you should know operating system feature. I'm telling for the explanation purpose.
correct.
Yeah, it's
That is
all
why. I mean,
unofficial thing.
I
Since
understand that. So what I'm
yeah,
trying to say that if I answer based on my, I mean, common understanding and reasoning, and then this is going wrong, then that gives a feedback that there is
yeah,
something
actually
wrong.
this goes wrong
Understand
when,
that.
so I can clearly mention that if some person executes this 1300 assuming that the multiple read is allowed means they have some basic computer knowledge, whether you agree or not, but that is what the realistic data. Okay, suppose if you already know this multiple reads are not allowed, then you already know something about how this multiple reads are happening, or multiple reads are allowed, then you should know multiple reads. Suppose if the fresher come to the course, then they assume from the instructor point of view, whatever explained in the lecture, they will just cope up with that content.
Sir,
Sir,
may I?
can I continue with my
My
questions?
Okay, so for this question, yeah, it's so if it is already done something like this, then it's a, yeah, it's not a mistake. I will say, I'll not say it's a mistake, but it should be explained properly. That I
Sir,
agree.
sir, in that case, one thing that can be done is since like down the road, if we when we will officially come to know that multiple reads are allowed, that could create a confusion since that is a contradictory thing. Okay, it will be better if you can issue an official clarification that this is an old system and the new system is that actually multiple
No,
reads are allowed.
I cannot do. That is what I'm telling. This since it is a live session, I can give you more clarification or something, but I
Okay.
cannot do the same thing in the forum or somewhere else. because
I
in
understand,
live
sir.
session we can interact more, and even if I convey some wrong information, you can counter it, and I say I
Correct.
apologize, and this is incorrect and that correct. But if I
Okay.
do something from the forum or portal, then that is a recorded one, and I cannot do that.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
And
So my understanding, sorry. Yeah, go on.
is it okay if I am done with my questions and you can proceed?
Yeah, it is
Sir,
fine.
my next question would be, normally when we wrote a line like a equal to a plus 300, that itself assigned the value of a plus 300 to a, then that was done. But here, is it so that after writing a we get like the value of a becomes a plus 300? Before writing, the value does not change. Is
Yeah,
it like that?
it does not change. And one more thing, go to the previous question. Maybe I will address this and then come to that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So here, once again, the person asked what happens if the multiple read happens, right? So this is actually, I hope, can you scroll up? Is there something
Sure,
written like
sure.
concurrent?
Yeah.
Is it written concurrent somewhere? Okay, nowhere they mentioned concurrency.
No, sir. It isn't mentioned.
Okay. So suppose I already explained, in concurrency, you can execute only one step at a time. So that is also one matter where when you do execute multiple steps at a time, it is an invalid transaction, or something is not possible. Okay. So you can assume that line also, but I'm not sure whether the question is focusing that line or something else. Yeah.
Sir,
Now
actually, the previous lecture is on concurrency. So maybe it was assumed that at the same timestamp T1, two things cannot happen
yeah,
if
it
it is
may
a
be due to the
concurrency.
concurrency. Yeah.
Yeah, sir. Hello.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, sir. So in this particular example as well, just a minute. Yeah, here after saying a equal to a plus 300, we are doing read a on transaction 1, and then we are doing write a on transaction 2. So the correct answer apparently is for transaction 1, since we have not written this value of a plus 300, it will be
It will
1000.
still say 1000.
Yeah, so that was my confusion. Is right necessary? Because normally this was
Yeah,
enough. A
only
equal to a plus 300.
since we have read and write, so whenever you perform write, then only the value will be written. Otherwise, the value is the intermediate value is calculated but not written to the placeholder of a.
So then if it is not written, then how we can say it's 1000?
That old value is still show 1000.
It doesn't written to us, right? It is just only read. So how can we know that it's 1000?
No, initially the account has 1000 rupees, right? Initially.
Okay.
Okay, so that 1000 only always we are reading. But whenever I write 300, then only I can say 1300 is the final amount.
Okay, got it.
Sir,
Hello, sir.
My last question,
Sir,
sir.
sorry
Can
to
I complete?
interrupt.
No, I just finished this question and come to you. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So, sir, I'll go back to this particular example where you explained concurrency and parallelism, the difference between the two.
Okay.
If we look at the dictionary meanings, I actually looked it up. One of the meanings of concurrent is actually running in parallel, and I even looked it up from a computer science perspective. The Wikipedia article says that concurrency allows for parallel execution of concurrent units. So I am slightly confused between this in this example, sir. Can you explain it once again?
No,
Like,
actually, so here you can stick with an assumption that, okay, so there are three figures you have seen, right?
yeah,
So the first figure says the red will start after the blue.
correct.
Okay, that is sequential execution.
Okay, yeah,
Then concurrent allows you can split red and blues into multiple pieces
right.
and execute them in any order.
But then we are not executing them parallelly, are we?
No,
Like,
this
it
is
is
not
not
parallel.
parallel.
Yeah, that is what we want to differentiate. The introduction to the concurrency is like it is advanced step of sequential.
Okay.
So you are doing sequential, but in the split manner. You can split into multiple pieces, then execute in any order.
So,
Yeah,
sir, but how can that save time? That's all.
Nowhere we mention that concurrency will save time. Can you point where we say that the concurrency saves time?
No, it is maintained. Yeah, that is correct. Sir,
Okay.
then just to have the last clarification about this, in concurrency we can take bits and pieces of different programs and do it in any order.
Yes.
But in parallelism, we have to do the whole thing. I mean, the whole procedures in the proper order that is given. But we can do both of them or three of them, whatever. We can do them
Yeah.
simultaneously.
Yes, we can do multiple things in the same time. Yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Is concurrency related to optimal utilization of limited resources?
No, it's not about optimal utilization. It is about doing multiple things, and I want to see output of multiple things simultaneously.
Sir, can I stop my screen sharing? I'm
Yeah, you
done
can
with my
stop the
question.
screen sharing.
Yeah.
Suppose
Thank you,
assume
sir.
in the sequential, so you have two activities, red and blue, and you are executing blue, and then later you are executing red. Then when you execute blue, you need 30 minutes, and after 30 minutes only you will start executing red. Okay, but if you want to see how this execution happens in the concurrent, so this 30 can be split into 5 minutes, and I will execute first 5 minutes the red, then the next 5 minutes blue, then again I will continue the red for the next 5 minutes, like this. Then I can see the intermediate computation happens simultaneously. That is the reason for the concurrency.
So it is used to see the sequential steps, right?
Yeah, sequential steps simultaneously for both. I mean the multiple process.
But what's the use in the real life? Like,
It's not.
why
I
it is
mean,
used?
at this point you cannot see the use. But suppose if you are developing this, I mean, this is abstraction level 0. You can see. Okay, so there are many levels beyond. When someone asks 5 plus 4, why are you doing addition? There are some big mathematics behind that, but you have to start with the addition, right? Something like this. So there are some big concurrent some research happening in the concurrency, but you have to start concurrency like this.
No, sir. But actually, I'm asking, what is the advantage that if we use advantage of concurrency? We are programming in concurrently. That's
Okay,
what I'm asking.
okay, so it's railway ticket booking. Suppose if you look at this yearly part of this session, we discuss what is the use of concurrency. It's a railway ticket booking. So many systems are working parallel in the sense they're continuously running, but exactly one PNR is given to one person. Not one PNR can be taken by two people. That is concurrent.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, railway ticket booking is one example of concurrency. Okay, so we are running out of time. Is there any short question? Then I can address it. Otherwise, we can close the session.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Can you again move on activity 11.4 question number 4?
I cannot access it, but tell me what is your doubt. Otherwise, you have to.
Sir, okay, sir. When a equals to a plus 300, then the money becomes 1,300, right? And in this stage, we write we get the value of a, that is 1,300. So what is the difference between 100 a equals to 1,300 and write a? Because write a against the given the same value of a.
No, assume. Okay, so I will give you some rough idea. So suppose if you have a equal to a plus 300. Okay, so this
Yes.
a is somewhere stored in the buffer place. Assume. Okay, and whenever you have write there only, you will write this buffer value to the correct place of a.
Okay.
Okay, based on this assumption, if you execute, then what will you get?
So sir, that means until I write a, the other procedures will read the same, the previous one.
Yeah, the old value only they can read.
Okay, sir.
Sir, I doubt 11.1.
Okay, can you
Question 9. Question 9. Yeah. Yeah, sir. There was said that the considers are given to the code written for customer to access the food container. The correct answer was that the buffer
Yeah, okay.
size should.
Actually, I think it is already addressed. So I will tell you the idea of the question.
Sir, it is
So,
addressed
yeah.
in this session, and I can watch if it is addressed in this session only.
Okay. So what is the doubt?
So, sir, if it is addressed in today's session, then I can see and go back and see the video only.
Yeah. So you can just go and see back because we have a long discussion over that.
Oh, sir, I have one more doubt. I have a doubt in the lecture. If I can share my screen, it would be easier. Can I do it?
Yeah. Yeah. Please share it.
Yeah. So this, if you can see,
Yeah.
the
I can.
last lecture where professor says that we cannot use the ready method because it is storing two parameters at the same time, average and add student, and both average has to set the value 0 initially, and add student has to have a value -1. So both cannot be at the same time.
Okay.
If you remember.
No. 1 minute. So what is the doubt?
So, sir, why can't both be accessed together? Ready can have average and add student at the same time.
Okay. So what? Okay. So now you have to think what does average and add student do? What average do?
Sir, to store the average marks of all the students, and add student adds the marks
Okay.
of a new
So
student
okay.
in the
1 minute.
tally.
1 minute. How does this average works? This average works like it will take. It will compute the average over that mark list, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then it is
So
reading the
average
mark list.
initially zero. Average is initially zero
Yeah.
when
That
nothing
is
is
correct. Yeah. Correct.
calculated, and it stores the positive, returns the positive value whenever the average is calculated, and add
Correct.
students returns -1 when a student is successfully added in the list. So it returns -1.
So you are trying to access the same variable in both, right? See, average try to set a
So
value to
so a
0.
function there.
Okay. And add
Yeah.
student try to set a value to -1. But if you try to do both simultaneously, I mean, then you cannot do both, right? You can do only one thing at a time.
So we can write a
Sir,
different
I have a
variable
doubt
for
from
the.
right here.
We can
So
write a
what if
different
the
variable for the
average
other
is first
function.
calculated?
What?
So what if the average is first calculated and the a value set it to 0?
That
And
nowhere we mentioned. In 1 minute, hold on. That nowhere we mentioned. We said wait something A and B means A and
Here it is
B
both
both
conditions
are
should be true at the
true, then
same
only.
time.
Okay, I cannot say that A will true, then later B will true. That is incorrect. At the same,
So sir,
at the current instance, A and B should be true. That is not possible because we are trying to set A value 0 as well as A value -1. That is incorrect.
so sir, here we can make this weight true by setting a value for the average and writing a new variable B for the add student.
But you have to re-implement, right? But based on the current code, it is incorrect.
Okay.
But you can re-implement. That is up to your implementation. You can re-implement the class, then you can do that.
So sir, how would buffer help here? How would buffer help here?
Where? Here.
In this video, in this notation, because at the end, professor says that buffer can be used because it lessens the amount of variables that we have to use.
Yeah, assume that, I mean, in your idea, you want to create one more variable, right? So instead
Yeah.
of one more variable, assuming you are creating some buffer space, and you are writing some intermediate value to the buffer, like this A value, instead of A value, you can write the current value of A value to the buffer and recompute the new value for A value.
Okay.
Okay, and in the second, and the add student, you try to update the A value but not the buffer. Then when you compute average, go and access the buffer instead of A value, so that there are two different variables. One is buffer and another one is A value. One guy will update the A value, another guy will get from the buffer. Then you have to ensure that whenever you are computing average, this both A value and buffer are getting updated properly.
Oh, okay, sir. Got it. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
So it means that the a value is only checked when we call the procedure ready, or
Yes.
thank you.
Yes. Correct. Okay. So I hope we can, I mean, we are running out of time. We will end up the session. Okay. Thanks for participation.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.